So, so basically, why we need to learn the firewalls or network security, right? Basically, because I just want to brief on the need or urgency on in terms of the jobs, right? So because nowadays everyone is all the industry is migrating towards the AI, right? And because of that, all the entry level jobs are going to be automated. So they are planning to automate all the jobs. So because of that, what will happen? So most of the entry level jobs will get cut, right? And it will be replaced with the AI next to 5 to 10 years, right? So within that time, right? So if we speak about the networking or network security, so here we have the difference is that so this is not like kind of a replacement job from the beginning because it requires the troubleshooting, right? And the person need to understand the requirement correctly. So all those things is coming into picture. So that's why this network security is going evergreen, and we have the multiple profiles, right? Multiple job openings here, right? So starting with the network engineer, desktop support, right? And if you go to the networking, so we have the network engineer and network consultant, and then the architect, right? And this is in terms of the technology, right? And we have the SOC operations also, right? Security operations command center. So we have that. So, but before that, we have to start with the network. And then if you come to the network security, so we have multiple variety of products which will help us in securing the network. It starts with the firewalls, load balancers, right? And web application firewalls. So, so basically on the network security as well as in the web application security, so that you, the IP address or the of any device, it is growing day by day, right? So we have seen IoT and many devices, right? So we have to have persons to manage all those things securely because the data is very the we call as data is the next oil, right? So the data should be protected. So there is a huge demand and there's a lot of skill gap is there to fill this, right? So in this way, what we can do, right? So we can concentrate on the working towards the latest trends, right? From the so in this session that what we'll be covering. So we'll be covering basically on the Fortinet. So it's kind of a demo, and I will be taking the content and also what we'll be covering for this syllabus, right? Yeah. So the objective is we want to make sure that the students understand the 48 key features, the architecture, and the packet flow, and how we can deploy the Fortinet firewalls, right? And there are how we can secure the Fortinet with the help of the Fortinet. So how we can secure the environment, right? And we have the hands-on experience. We can get it that can be done with the EVNG lab, right? So we have the scenarios that are built in the EVNG lab. So we have to replicate that. So that is the objective that is set for the course. So so the first one is, so I'll just go over the content actually, just the content what we'll be covering, right? So so this is the introduction to the FortiGate firewall. This is the main first slide will be there, right? So our first topic that will be there. So in this one, right, what is the use of the FortiGate firewalls, right? So because there are many other firewalls, right? So stateful firewalls and next generation firewalls, and how FortiGate firewall is making different in the market, right? So just give a brief hint on that. So this FortiGate firewall, why it is unique is it's very user friendly. GUI is very user friendly, and it also have the other features which are uh, multiple security features which are easier to implement than the other firewalls. So that is the reason it has been the leader in the Gartner quadrant, right? So, and the next is architecture of the FortiGate firewall. So there are multiple architectures for this one, right? So we'll cover that in detail, right? And so I'm going to cover these key features, right? So on the firewall. VPN, IDS, IPS, antivirus, web filtering, and application control, right? So what is the how we can see the key features, right? So this is firewall is nothing but, so it will, the basic functional of the firewall is to allow or deny, right? So basically, so it will be allowing the traffic or denying the traffic. So that is the uh, use of the firewall, right? So, and apart from that, there are other functionalities which is added like VPN. So VPN is basically virtual private network where we establish the secure communication between the two sites, right, securely, right? So so that no other uh, party or no other attacker can get the information. So that is called as the VPN or virtual private network, right? So the next one is IDS IPS. So this is intrusion detection system or intrusion prevention system. So what will happen here? So this will take care of the attacks, right? Attacks which are happens from inside to outside or outside to inside. So IDS will just do the monitoring and IPS will take the prevention, intrusion prevention system, right? So how we can implement this one on the firewall, so that we will be seeing that, right? So antivirus, so this is the other security features, so how we can prevent the virus, right? So that is the concept, right? Web filtering, so how we can block the URLs and the content filtering, right? So those we'll be seeing in that. And the application control, so it is much into the application where I can have the features that are mainly on the application level. I can have the control also. So that is the concept of the application control. Yeah. So next one we'll be seeing the packet flow uh, across FortiGate firewall. So for this, what I will be doing, I'll just share one of the screen so that we'll just go through on the overview and then we'll come back. Uh, So is it still not audible, or is it still not clear?
No, sir, it's okay.
Yeah, I can go ahead, right?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So this is overview of the packet flow, right? On the Fortinet firewall. So I have taken this one from the Fortinet page itself so that it is easier to understand and we cover all the concepts, right? So I'm just going through the topology also here. Right? So just I'll just brief you on the topology point of view and then we come for the packet flow, right? So here, this is your topology for the Fortinet, right? And we have the site A. There are four sites: site A, site B, site C, and site D. These are the four sites that will be replicating the scenarios. Right? And so, so in this one, I'll be going through the flows, right? Whenever we want to explain the concept, I'll just use this topology, and we'll be giving that to you for the information. And the same topology will be given to you for the replication, right? So you can do the same labs, right? So first one is during the packet flow, when the packet enters the interface, right? So here, so here, so any outside packet that comes to the interface, right? So what it will do, right? So it will check the ingress. The ingress is the one that will be checking. So at the ingress point of view, it will be checking for the DOS policy, denial of service, right? So is the packet is generating, so from the outside the packet is it having the multiple incoming connections, right? Within the short period of time, like I have multiple requests in 1 minute from a single source, right? So that will be called as denial of service. So what it will do, it will check the profile, right? Denial of service policy that we define. And if you define the policy, and if you say that in 1 minute, right, if I receive 1,000 connection from any outside, I'm going to reject that, right? So that is kind of a denial of service. So I am making some of the service uh, genuine, right? So I am making this web server or any other service internally which are located, right? So I'm making that as the not vulnerable to the outside world. So that is the first check that will be done, DOS policy. And also we have the IP header check, right? So IP header check in the sense, uh, from the outside, if any packet is coming, so the IP header, the length is there, right? So whatever the length is there, so it will just check the number of length bytes, right? So if it is according to that, it will just process it. If it is exceeding that, if it's malformed, so then it will discard it, right? And then we have the IPsec VPN decryption, right? So suppose say I have the any packet which are going from here, right, to the any site that is here, right? So I want to establish communication from here to here. So this packet is coming like this. So the decryption of the packet, right? So that will happen the first, right? So that is the next level of checking at the ingress packet. So here, if there is no, say if the IPsec VPN is not there, when it is coming from the say outside to the inside, right? So if the IPsec VPN is not there, so then it will skip that IPsec VPN part. So otherwise, it will process the IPsec VPN part from whenever we are going from the trust to untrust, or from here also, like we are coming from the outside zone to the this one, and then we are reaching here. So that time also the decryption will be there. So that time the decryption will happen. So these are the main checks that it will be doing at the ingress. Right. Let me clear this. So TCP IP stack, DOS policy, IP integrated header, so IPsec VPN decryption. So these are all things. So next is admission control. So where this is kind of acting as the, so whether the so we have to configure this one quarantine list. So if the any IP that is not vulnerable, so that is uh, that is an intelligence that is built in FortiGate telemetry. So if you found that any IP which is a vulnerable, so that will make into the quarantine list by the admission control. So there is a checkpoint here. So the next one is kernel. So where we have the the OS which are built into the Fortinet, right? So that is called as the Forti OS, and that is the kernel, right? So and that will check care of the destination NAT initially. The first check will be the destination NAT, right? So if the packet is coming from outside, so if there is a destination NAT, it will take plus, it will take first, right? So destination NAT in the sense, say I have, so Windows server is accessing towards the any web server here, so that will be the first step that will be accessing. The destination will be changed from this port 2, which is the public IP, towards the private IP, which is 192.168.3.20. Right? So the destination NAT will take first, and then we have the routing part. So here, so the routing will be right. So we have to see that. So to reach from Windows server, so you should have the route to reach the the firewall here. So then the firewall will have the internally which is connected here. So this will have the route here. So if this is connected with any other router or any other L3 device, we should make sure that that is having the route, right? So here, if they want 40, so if user want to reach to this destination, right? So here we should have the route to point to this one, right? So this includes all kinds of routing, right? So we have the SD-WAN, we have the OSPF, static route, default route, all the kinds of routing that is taken place after the destination NAT. So then we have the stateful inspection. So then we will see that stateful inspection where the session is built on the firewall. It will have the source IP, which is the source IP of this one, and destination IP, which is the firewall IP here, right? And then we will be having the source port and destination port. So whatever the destination port is there, port 80 or anything, so that will be there of 443. And protocol TCP or UDP. This is a protocol or ICMP, any protocol it will be there, and interface. So all this map into a session, which will have the like we call that as 6 tuple. So that will be maintained by the Fortinet firewall here, and based upon that, the next packet it'll have the lifetime, right? So TCP or UDP session will be having the lifetime. So once the session is created, the next packet is coming to the firewall. It will take the same session. If it matches the same session, it will take the same session and it will just forward it, right? It will not check each and everything. If the action is allowed, it will forward it. So those things are advantage of the next generation firewall. So the 14 is the next generation firewall, like how we have Palo Alto and Cisco FTD. So these are next generation firewalls, which will make sure that, or stateful firewall plus next generation firewalls, we call that, which will make sure that the session setup is there here, and then based upon the lifetime, the intelligence that firewall is having, so the session will be processed, right? So next is session lookup. Right. So then there are session helpers, right? So this is required whenever we have the wise protocols, wise related traffic. So that time firewall will indirectly open some of the ports which are required to the user. So that is called the session helpers. So then we have the user authentication. So authentication is like we have to integrate the Fortinet with any LDAP or Radius or anything. So authentication tools. So once that is done, the user will get authenticated with that, and then he will have the access. Right. So there is one more concept is a device identification, right? So in our network, right? So here, whatever the network we have, so 48 will be able to identify, is it a PC, is it a server, or is it any CCTV, printer, or anything, and based upon that, it can take the decision, right, to allow or deny. So those, that is called device identification. SSL VPN, right? So this is another use case where any user who want to have the connectivity towards the internal network, say the outside user is there which is connected over internet, and they want to access some resources here, right? So they can come all the way, say this is a, say, perimeter firewall, this is a core firewall, we can say that. And if we want to access any of these servers, right, so they can come all the way and they can access it. So that is how the remote access VPN or SSL VPN is there. So we'll be seeing that how we can access the this one, and we'll show that how user can access the web server on the using the SSL VPN feature. So next is local management traffic. So this is a management traffic which is towards the firewall. So that flow will be there. Right. So the other concept after session creation and all these checks, so there will be UTM or next generation firewall features, right? So there are flow based inspection. So these are the inspection that will happen at a stretch, right? And then once the series of packet that inspected, right? So the next packet will take the same flow. So that is called as the flow based inspection, right? And we have the proxy based inspection. So there is a different one. So where the Fortinet will create the separate session towards the outside or towards the inside. So that is called the proxy. It acts as the proxy so that it will create a new session to the outside, from here only the source IP will be changing here. So otherwise, in the flow based inspection, the source IP will be this one, right? So that is how the difference between the proxy and flow based inspection, right? So and then later the it'll forward to the next this one. So forwarding, right? So and then we have the source NAT that is going to happen if the flow requires the source NAT. So that is next way after defining all the policies and everything here. So then the source NAT will happen. So and then we have the IPsec VPN encryption. So at the last we'll be having the encryption that is done. Right? So then it will go to the TCP IP stack, and there are WAN optimization. So this is to optimize the bandwidth of the traffic. So then it going to egress, right? So it's for the outside interface, the packet will be forwarded. So this is just the overview that I've given on the mm, packet flow. So this one we'll be discussing in depth on this one. Right. Right. So we are here and packet flow and security fabric, right? How FortiGate firewall interact with the other security solutions. So that we'll be seeing that. And there are other models, right? Which are the models and where it will be placed, whether it will be placed in the data center or at the ISP side or medium branch side, right? So these are the models that we'll be seeing on the model wise, right? And the next one content will be initial setup, right? So what is the how we can configure the firewall in the initial setup, and what is the access that we'll be having, GUI or CL access, and how we can define the zones, right? So here if you see, so we can define these zones here, right? So zone is nothing but the logical grouping of the interfaces. Say I have port 1, port 5, port 6, and I want to have the same policy. Instead of defining on the port level, I define at the zone, which is the collection of interfaces, right? So I define port 1 and port 5 as one, right, which is kind of a LAN zone, and port 6 as the DMZ zone, right? And port 4 is some other zone, so that in that way I can define that, and port 2 as the outside or untrust zone, that also I can define. Then I can have the policies which are created from the trust to the untrust, or from DMZ to the untrust, or some other zone to the untrust, or between the zones, right? So in this way I can have the policies, right? So that we'll be seeing in the next step after initial setup. So then the basic firewall configuration. So how zones will work, right? So and how we can configure them, and what is the policy that we need to define, right? So security policies, because if you want to allow the traffic between any interface, right, so you should need a policy. So that is the reason we will be having the security policy or the firewall policy that is built in, right? So that we have to configure it to allow the traffic, right? So in that we have the parameters, right? Say which are the source, which are the destination I want to allow, right? I want to deny that. So anything you can define that in the security policy. So and then there is a NAT, right? So NAT is nothing but, so if the source is going outside towards the internet, so then there are source NAT which will be taking place, right? So because the private IP in any network will not be able to go to the outside, because since it's a private, it cannot be routed over the internet. So we should use the public IP. So it has to convert to the public one, so that it goes to the outside internet world. So that is called the source NAT. Source is getting changed. Basically 192.168, it will be changed to the firewall, which will be having the IPs, public IPs, right? So which are limited, but we can use that. The public IPs are limited now, but we can, so still now we are able to use it, but these are the limitation. So there will be cost will be there for the public IPs. So accordingly we'll be using that, right? So this is the source NAT, and the destination NAT is nothing but from the outside. If anyone is coming, so how, so they will be having their own private IP, and they have to route it via internet, and then from the internet we should able to identify some public IPs which are located for the to access to the our internal servers, right? So that is called as destination net. So we'll see how we can configure source net and destination net, and how we can define the policies, right? So these are the other concept. So there is nothing. The next one is security profiles in the FortiGate. So here we'll be having the security checks, right? What are the security checks, right? So antivirus, so anti-spyware, right? So how we can define this one, right? Web filtering. So if I want to control any website to allow or block, right? So Facebook, I want to allow within this specific time, and I want to block the in during the other time. So how we can do that, right? So application control. So there is a inbuilt application control, that feature is there. So that we'll be seeing here, and IPS, as I already told on this one. So email filtering and SSL and SSH inspection. So this is a inspection that is happening at the firewall. So how we can securely encrypt the traffic, and then we can pass it to outside, right? So that is nothing but SSL or SSH inspection. So these are the profiles that will be there. So we'll be applying these profiles to the policies that we define, so that the respective flow can take any of these actions, right? So next one is the VPN configuration, right? So there are IPsec VPN and SSL VPN configuration, right? So IPsec in the sense, say I want to establish the communication between Fortinet site A and Fortinet firewall inside C, right? Or I want to establish the communication between inside C, we have the branch firewalls, right? So this is the one of the firewall. So this is the management branch, and this is the branch firewall, and this is the head firewall. So I want to establish the VPN communication between these two, so that no one is in the here, they can't target the traffic, and they will not be able to see the traffic. So how I do that, right? So that is basically the VPN is serves the purpose of confidentiality, right? And integrity and authenticity, right? So these three are the parameters, right? So we'll be seeing that how confidentiality, which is nothing but the encryption, which will happen, right? And how integrity, right? So if someone sees the data, and if they want to attack, like they want to see the data, how I can make sure that the data is not altered, right? So, and authenticity, right, to respective participants, right, or respective parties at the other end. So they should only able to see the data. They should not be able to see some other site here. The relevant or respected participants, they should be able to see the communication. So that way we'll be seeing the IPsec VPN and SSL VPN, as I said earlier. So from outside, if user want to access the inside resources, so that time we'll be going for the SSL VPN. So, and then we have the high availability, which is required in the networking, because everything needs a redundancy, so that the service is not getting impacted. This is the critical, right? And this is a must and should, right? So that is the reason we have the high availability here, right? So for the high availability only, we have the specific labs, right? So here we have the uh, say from the user, right? So he will initiate the traffic here, and then it goes to the outside, and we will see how the firewall, if you switch off this firewall, how this firewall will take to the traffic to the outside, so that I have the redundancy that is built uh, for the firewalls. And at any point of time, if this firewall goes down or this firewall goes down, right, so other will takes place, right? So there is a concept called active passive, where one device will be active at one point of time, right? Active passive in the sense, one device will be active one point of time, right? So passive, right? So this will be sitting idle, and it will be syncing with this firewall with these links, right? So there are, we call these links, uh, there are some terminologies, call these links heartbeat links and data links, right? So with these links, the information will be synchronized, so that whenever this goes down, right, so the traffic will be forwarded to here, and then user will be able to go from this like this to internet, right? So internet here. So like this. So this is what is called active passive, right? This is one of the terminologies. So other one is which is active, where we'll have both the device which are active, right? And I can pass the traffic here and here both, right? So I can decide the parameter how we can go it, right? So and both the device will be active, and the traffic will be passed on both the firewalls and it go to the outside. So this is called as active. So this HA parameter we will be seeing that in there in our labs. And user authentication and identity management, right? So here in this one we'll be configuring the say Fortinet to have the like how we can integrate with any LDAP server. So that is the only part that we'll be seeing here, how we can integrate to LDAP server. So and then we can this is just the configuration that we'll be seeing on the LDAP part on the user integration, right? So that is the next part. And logging and monitoring, right? So how we can do the logging of the firewall policies, and how we can do the monitoring, right? So there are Forti analyzer is also there, and there are locally logging is there. So we'll be seeing the local logging, and we'll be seeing how we can integrate with the Forti analyzer in Forti analyzer and Forti manager, which is for the management device. How we can integrate that? So that we'll be seeing as the additional part. These two are the additional parts. And then log forwarding, right? And in going doing all this course, right? So we'll be seeing the troubleshooting of the FortiGate firewalls, right? So in each of the functions we'll be seeing the how we can do the ping, trace route, and packet capture and everything is common issue. So all these things. So there are advanced features, right? So these are the advanced features, right? So this one also we'll be seeing SD-WAN. So here we have this SD-WAN, right? So this is a scenario where we replicate the SD-WAN, right? So SD-WAN is nothing but it will take care of the load balancing and redundancy at the firewall level. So this is a next upcoming technology, right? So there are many opportunities available for the SD-WAN. Who knows it very well? So we'll be seeing that. And there are VDOMs, right? So how we can see that this is on the configuration only, we'll be able to see that on the VDOMs, right? So how I can divide the firewall into multiple, right? So suppose I have the one firewall only and I want to divide it for the production and non-production, and how we can do that. So this is a configuration we'll be seeing that. And there are deep packet inspection, like so for the advanced security, and there is a 40 manager. So these concepts will be covered as part of the advanced technique, right? So and during all the course, like we'll be recommending on the what is the FortiGate best practices and how we can use that, right? So all these things we'll be covering that. And this is our lab, right? So and quickly I'm going to show you, right? So one of the lab, right? So here, so this is a user one. We have the switch, right? And we have the Fortinet, and we have the Windows Server. So how we can place the device? So this one will be discussed later. So quickly, what I want to show is that I just want to show how the GUI looks like and what is the functionality, right? So that we'll be seeing now, and then we go for the query session. So basically the content whichever I covered here, everything from the say here only. So from the Fortinet firewall. So this is our official website where we have the different modules, right? So we'll be covering on the same model wise, Fortinet firewall, module 2, module 3, everything, static routes, right? So we'll be covering that. So the same way we'll be covering. And what we'll be seeing is that the information that is given to you will be like this. So there will be a PPTs which will cover the theory concept, right? So as now we discussed a multiple concept, so we will be getting all these policies, so which will cover the say the theory concept, how we can define and what is a this one. Say now we have seen here web server web setup, right? So we'll show you how you can set up the web server. So like that, static and VDOM, VPN, so route-based VPN, IPsec, policy-based VPN. So all these things. So this is a kind of a theory concept that we'll be getting, and this will be in a PPT format, right? So if I show you of the VPN, so if I show you on the VPN concept, right? So right. So here we see, right. So this is acting as the theory part on this, right? So what and all we can define and the concept which will be useful for the interview, and because in interview they will be asking on the more on the say theory part also, and even though they will ask for the this one labs, but most of the people, right, so whoever is working on the technology, so they will be knowing that on the practical part, but sometimes it will be very difficult on the technical or the theory part. So it is very hard, and so that's why we have designed this. One is on the theory part, so that we have the this one and workbook, right? So these are the workbook that we'll be giving. So this is say how we can define the all the parameters, right? So port channel, NAT and transparent mode. So if you go from the starting, right, DNS, DHCP, right, source NAT firewall policies, right? So and commands, what are the different types of commands that we have? Interface configuration, VLAN, port channel, local address policy, MAC address policy, source NAT, web filtering. So there are FortiGate license required for these two. So sometimes these will work with this one with the EVNG, but however I have covered here, right, how we can actually configure that, right, and we have covered like how we can do that without a FortiGate license. And there are other DOS policy, destination at DNS filtering, right? So and there are so deployment mode, there are profile based mode and policy based mode, and there is a NAT mode and transparent mode. How we can change that, so that we'll be seeing. And there are multiple types of VPNs, right? So road based IPsec VPN, road based VPN with the IPsec wizard. There is a inbuilt wizard is there on the firewall, so that we'll be seeing. And there is a custom VPN template with the custom VPN template, how we can do that. So these are multiple types of establishing the VPN parameters. So SSL VPN, policy based, and IPsec VPN configuration, right? So and here we'll see active active to active passive and active active. So this one if you see, so active passive to active active, right? So the interface here see you are seeing here the topology. So there will be active passive, we will be set up in active passive, and if we are converting to active active, how we can convert that. And then we have the SD-WAN also on that, right? So those parameters, we the screenshot everything will be given to you. Uh, So I'm just showing this one as a reference. So active active, and then
Hello, Raj.
yeah.
Hello,
So
Raj. Can
this
you hear
is
me?
SD-WAN, all the SD-WAN features. So those will be seen. Yeah. And now we go to the just the lab, and I'll just trying to show the topology and the GUI part. So now the user one. So the demo that I want to distribute. So user one will be accessing internet, and how we can do that. So here, if you see, user one is having the management access 1.99, and user one is 192.168.1.10. That is the IP that is there here. That is IP here. So we have already set that IP. So if I type here command, so here if you see IP config, I think it's taking some time. Yeah, so yeah, we are taking the same lab for the demonstration. Yeah, so the topology will be the same and we will be having the access to the labs. So you see the IP that we configured here, right? So and the subnet mask, everything, right? So basically we have to configure that IP, everything, and then we got the management access for this firewall, and we have given the HTTP and then the URL, and then we are able to see the host name, serial number, firmware. So this mode is whichever the mode that is NAT mode, right? So and then we have the system time, everything. So this is what, and there are some dashboards here, right? So I will tell you right how we can add the some of the dashboards to for the, say if you want to monitor say SD-WAN, right? So how we can do that, right? So some of the parameters or some of the dashboards are not inbuilt, so that's why we have to add it. So it's kind of a routing actually. So just go more the routing. Yeah, so routing. So these things. So you can just add it up here. So add monitor and then we give the static or dynamic routing. So routing monitor, add it. Then it will reflect here, right? So these are the licenses that is there as of now, and then the CPUs, memory, and the administrative access. So security fabric is nothing but it will be having the management of the, say if you have multiple devices, 40 Wi-Fi or any other Fortinet products, how this will be integrated with the other features, right? So that is the function of the security fabric. So and then we have the network. So where we see interfaces, right? DNS, packet capture, SD-WAN, all these things will be there. So currently what we have done is, say I have told you earlier, so we have configured the interfaces. So if I go to the network, I will show you the purpose of this one. Right. So currently what we have done, port one, right? So which is the inside interface, right? So port one is the inside interface. So what we have done, we have configured that as the static IP. We have given the IP and we have allowed these all these access, ping, HTTP, SSH, HTTP, right? So all these access we have allowed. And port two, which is the outside interface, right? So the outside interface, so which is connected to internet, right? So we have this management cloud, that is the device that we have, which will connect to internet, right? So that is what, and we have defined this as the DHCP IP here, so that it get the IP from the internet, any of the IP. And then what we done after creating the interfaces, right? So we went to the, say, policy and firewall policy. So what we have done, so we have done from the management to the internet, right? So this is just a logical name that we have given, port 1 to port 2, management to internet, and we have selected the source as all and destination as the all, and we have scheduled the policies all the time and service. So we have given all service, right? And we have accepted the action, so to be allowed. And there is a natting, right? So if you see this in detail, just click on that, and then you will be getting the not edit, or you can click here edit, so that it will be we'll be able to see the firewall policy. So any name you can give here. So management to internet, right? So here what I have done, management. This one I assumed as management, and then towards the internet. So that is a name, and port one, port two. This is the interfaces that we have seen, and we have allowed all the traffic. Then uh, inspection mode will be flow based mode. This is a default one that we'll be using, and this is a recommended one. And proxy based one will not be using that, because this requires a lot of usage on the memory and lot of mm, tuning that is required on the proxy based. So that's the reason. So flow based one will be using, and NAT. So what is the source that will be happening and towards the outside interface. Uh, and as of now, we are not using any profiles here, security profiles. These are the security profiles, and we are logging that session. So log allowed session or all session, anything we can give it. So recommended is all session. So that is what we have to give it, and enable the policy, right? So these things we have done on the policy level. This is on the policy, right? So, and if I want to say restrict the YouTube, right? So currently management access is there. So user one, which is the same IP, so he will be able to access the anything, right? Say Facebook or YouTube, right? So anything, I'm just typing here. So this is a Facebook search. So, and we can have this Facebook also like this, and then YouTube. So I'll just close Facebook because it's taking some time for the processing. And on the firewall, right? So there are some command lines, right? So that mean so we can have this command line, and we'll be able to see these many sessions that are already established with the outside world, right? So all these sessions, right? So and there is a source NAT which is happening, and then this is this one outside whatever the DNS one, right? So this is a DNS traffic. 53 is the DNS one, right? And 443 is the HTTPS one, right? So in this way, we'll be able to see the command line. We can filter that traffic, so everything we'll be able to see. So now you see, right? So YouTube, we are able to access here. It's not loading, but we are able to see the page, right? So it's not completely loading basically. So now what I will be doing, I have created one of the feature which is there here. So I'll show the policy first. Let's go to the double click will work or edit option will work. Any of the one we can select that. So if you want to deny social media, right? So YouTube, right? So what I've done, block YouTube or YouTube one I've just selected, and I have selected the interface which I want to do it. And there is a source is all, and well, the destination one YouTube only I have selected, right? So in YouTube, you see all these parameter it will resolve. right? YouTube. So this is a FQDN based rule, right? So this is a very easiest kind of security rule that we can implement, right? So because the outside YouTube one will be resolved to multiple IPs, right? And we don't know what are those IPs, and we can't restrict one by one, right? So that's why what we do, there is a FQDN based rule, fully qualified domain based. So we have to have to do this one. We have to have the DNS entries which are created at the firewall. So we have already have the DNS entries for the this one, and then we give the FQDN, right? So now we're given the YouTube. So again, we can add any other thing, right? So if you go here, right, so can add any other thing, Netflix or anything, right? So anything we can add and create it, and we just add it. So in this way we can alter that. So now we have created the YouTube one, right? And what I have done, I have done the action deny, so we can enable the log violation traffic and then just give OK for this one. See, we are able to see the page, everything here. And then currently the policy is disabled here. You see the policy, right? So it is disabled. So what I'm, because if you come here, you see, right, the color one it's showing it's disabled, right? So you see here the action it is showing disabled. Policy to ID disabled. So I have to enable that. Set status enable that, so that I want to make sure that YouTube is denied, right? So that is what actually. And what I will do, there's no, say, in some firewalls there is a commit option is there, right? In Palo Alto Firewall, suppose if I make any changes, I have to do commit to make ensure that changes take into the a firewall in place, right? It goes to the kernel and it affects, right? So that is what. And in this firewall we don't have that option, right, in Fortinet. So if we make this enable, so that automatically it will be enabled, right? So and then what I will do, I'll just go here. So YouTube one, I'll just refresh this one. Yeah. So sometimes what will happen, this browsing issue will be there, so that's why it will not work. So it will take some time, so we have to clear the browser and we have to try that. And there will be already the session that is already there on the firewall, so that is the reason it will not so it will be part of that session, right? So and then later only we have to try it, right? So that is how this FQDN based rule or session will work. So once we do the clear filter and clear everything, so then only it will be able to we'll be able to uh, check that. So history, so I'm just trying to clear the history and we'll see. And we have to clear the cookies also, so then only it will work. Yeah, so this will take some time to reflect that, so that's why. But the rule will be like this. So YouTube deny, right, anything. So that is what is the rule, right? So hope you understood on this, right? So and then it is clear, right? So let me refresh this one so that you'll be able to see if there is any hit count that is hitting this firewall rule. So you see the hit counts already. It is already there, right? So but that because of the session and the this persistence, so that's the reason we'll not be able to see that as the blocking one. So either we have to go to another browser, so and then we have to check it, or else after the time lapse of the session, so there will be 30 minutes of session will be there. After that it will get vanished, and then we can try this. So this is how the FQDN based rule will work, so that you can block anything. This is one of the this one, and there will be firewall policy and the source that everything will be covered in that. So I think this was my demo, right? So I'm just stop sharing now, and I'll ask the students so if they have any queries, and then they can ask me now in terms of technical things, what and all. If they have any queries, any topics or anything, so you can ask me. I'll hand over to the students now. Yeah, so basically, this will be the content that we'll be covering, and I have given the syllabus and everything. Topology, and then we'll be having this PPT and workbook, which are discussed as of now earlier. So we'll be replicating in each of the say one of the lab, right? So we'll be replicating this concept, DHCP client and DHCP server. So taking some of the models from the topology, right? Uh, and then we have to replicate that Fortinet site management, right? So how we can define that, so with the IP address details and everything. So we'll see that. Yeah. Any questions? And I hope you all understood the demo that I have covered, basically on the packet flow and the FQDN based rule, right? And other technologies that concept which I covered. Hope you all understood, and let me know your feedback and any queries on the syllabus or any lab part, anything, right? So anyone can um, go ahead and raise the query, or if they are fine, so then they can tell your opinion so that it will be easier for me to go ahead. We'll wait for 5 minutes, and then I will hand it over to our partner, Sajid, right? So who will be taking further on this course structure and fees and the lab. If you have any queries on the lab setup, so he'll be guiding on that. But what I want to assure is that you'll get the same topology, which is dedicatedly allocated for you, like the remote desktop, and all the images that are built in here. So you'll get the same kind of images, right? Same site. So I will be instructing you, say if I want to cover the DSCP or DNS or the VPN traffic, VPN technologies, VPN this one. So then what we'll be doing, right? I will be covering the same on the lab part, so that it is clear for you. Step by step, we'll go through the workbook and we'll configure that. The same way, what you can do, you can configure that over there, right? So in your RDP link that is set up to you. So there's a kind of individual link that will be provided to you, right? So I thought showing one more feature, so I'll give some time and I will show one more feature. Right, so EVNG, why it is useful is that, say, I can do the packet capture. You see the capture here. So I can do the packet capture. What I will do, user one, I'll just try to initiate the traffic towards the internet, and then we'll see the packet capture for that. So you see the capture here, and I can do port two, right? Port two, I'll just enable. So this will be the Wireshark, right? So Wireshark capture, you will be seeing this one, and user one, right? So user one is there here. Extend the session, so, and then so if I ping 4.2.2, then we have this Wireshark. So you see the Wireshark here. So there are multiple this one. So we can do Wireshark capture here also. So and we can have the filter. So if we want to filter anything, we can do the filter here, or we can have the filter here also. Normally, what I want to say is that so you can do this analysis also. So suppose if I want to take any traffic, right? So this is kind of a HTTP, right? So there are different protocols, ARP, right? ARP, right? ARP is address resolution protocol, right? So here, what is the thing is, right? So sender, this is the one, and sender IP address is there, right? Target MAC address, right? So and the target IP address, right? So this is there. So ARP is used for address resolution protocol. So that is the usage. So here there is a ARP request, right? So this is a ARP request. You see here ARP request. So this is one of the example I'm telling to you, right? And this one in the ARP request we have the sender MAC sender IP, and you see the target MAC. It is FF or any, right? So it will send it to all to have the MAC address to be known to the packet, right? So this is the outside interface 172.16.24/7. This is the public interface, right? So this here, yeah. So our request, this is the one that we are seeing now, and this is a reply. So this is a reply packet. So in the target MAC address, so this will be filling with that MAC address. So that is what the source will be filling up with the MAC address that is required, right? So sender is this one, destination is nothing. So the reply will be opposite of that, where we have the sender MAC address and we have the target MAC address. So this is how you get the ARP request and ARP response. And there are other flags in the TCP and everything, right? So 6 flags are there. So all those things are there. So there is one HTTP that we have seen. So I thought of showing that header also, because normally, right, whenever we do the packet, this one tracer, so we have to analyze this packet capture to see whether the packet is really reached the destination or not. Are we seeing the reset, uh, anything, right? So that is the use of the Wireshark. So EVNG make it is very easier. So I can have the packet capture at any uh, port, right? So that's how it is there. Yep, I think that's it from my end. So I'll just let me know if anyone is having queries on the trainees part, anything. Yeah. If anyone wants to speak or share opinion, just share it. How you felt the session, and um, any queries you have on the lab point, anything you can share it.
Okay, Raj. Yeah, hello
Yeah.
everyone. Myself Sajid. I'm a student relationship manager. So I'm here to give you the details related to course and access and all the pricing details. So thank you, Raj. Thanks for your sessions. If you guys have any doubts, you can just ask to the trainer Raj. If there is nothing, so he'll be dropping now. So you can ask it. I'll be moving forward for giving you all the details related to course.
Sajid, your voice is a little bit low, so if you can.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was saying, like, if student has any further queries or something, so they can ask it up to you. So, or else we'll be moving forward to just this all the details towards the course enrollment and what all access and everything they'll be getting with the pricing details. Okay. If you guys have anything, you can come up and yeah, trainer Raj. So the student seems like they don't have any further question. So if you want, you can drop it up. So we'll be continuing for the
Yeah.
details.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you all have the understanding, and I hope you see you in the next class. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. Bye.
Yeah, can you please quickly confirm me? Are you able to see my screen? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for thumbs up. So I will take it as you can see my screen. So firstly, let me start with course syllabus and schedule. So here we'll be going to cover two firewalls, like firewall mastery, two-in-one combo. So here we'll be covering FortiGate NSE4, and we'll be covering Palo Alto PCNSA and PCNSE, two major papers here, like and we'll be covering PCNSA, PCNSE, and panorama theory as well. So we have the license too. So if the trainer will be going to take in the Palo Alto session. Okay. So basically, we are having two different schedules. Like we have one is on weekend and one is on weekdays. Okay. Those who are looking to join the FortiGate batch now and start your firewall training, so they can join it up. And those who are looking for Palo Alto, they also can register and they can also attend this batch from the Monday to Friday. So overall, weekend we are starting with the FortiGate course, and weekdays we are starting with the uh, Palo Alto course, Palo Alto PCNSA and PCNSA. And sorry, here I think one slide. Saturday and Sunday. So, class schedule one will be on weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. IST. The duration will comes up for 2 to 3 months. Okay, overall for Palo Alto and FortiGate on weekends. And class schedule two will be on from Monday to Friday, weekdays batch, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. 2 to 3 months it will also take to cover these two major firewalls. Okay, FortiGate and Palo Alto. So this will be a two-in-one combo course, like for the firewall mastery, FortiGate, and Palo Alto. We are going to take it from the basic to expert level. If you are kind of fresher, or like if you are just recently started working on this firewall, no need to worry. Our trainer will be going to take you all the things from scratch itself. From basic to expert level, he will be going to take and he will be covering this firewall course. Okay, so let me move towards the second slide. So here, as you can see, I'll be giving you the details towards the course enrollment and access details. So here, firstly, you will be getting the web portal access. There you will be getting the lifetime recording access. That means what all live classes you will be attending, that recordings will be getting on your portal. So that in future, if you want to go through the videos, if you want to practice something, you can go through them. And secondly, like the classes which you'll be attending, the recordings will be recorded in the Zoom meeting and it will be uploaded from the backend to the portal, so that from the portal you can access the recordings for lifetime access. Whenever you want, you can access the recordings. And let's say you missed one or two session, like one day you got some emergency, you didn't attend the session. So what you can do, like the recordings will be uploaded to the portal in meantime of 1 hour once the class is done. So once you come back, so you can just go through the recording and you can catch up to the next class. If you have any doubts, you can clear it up with the trainer in the next session. Okay, this like this you can catch it up and you can go in flow with the batch. And secondly, we'll be providing you the 24/7 lab access that can be accessible 24/7 unlimited. Like you'll be getting the Palo Alto 4 months of lab access and FortiGate 4 months of lab access. This is for just next 3 hours, or like easily you can access and you can practice it up. So whenever you want, you can access your labs. Okay. And that are totally 24/7 accessible, 24/7 unlimited. Whenever you want, you can access the labs. And we'll be providing you the dedicated materials like workbooks, PPTs, PDFs, step-by-step lab manuals, all the materials we will provide you that you can download and you can keep it with you as well. And the G Drive access remains with you for lifetime. And we'll be providing you the home lab setup too. Let's say if you have the good configuration of your system, then we'll be setting a home lab on your system so that you can access once you are done with your remote lab access. So further, you can practice on your personal laptop itself. And that will also remain with you for lifetime access. Whenever you want, you can access the labs on your system. And we'll be providing you the 24/7 backend support from our team. If you are facing any issues, any queries regarding to the course or regarding to the portal or regarding to the lab, anything it may be, you just need to raise a ticket on our support DM. One of our team member will connect with you and we will resolve your issues accordingly in meantime. Okay. And these are the access and materials you'll be going to get once you are going to enroll for this course. These are totally work beneficial for you.